In today's video, we're revealing some of the most valuable US quarter-dollar coins ever discovered, how to identify them, and why collectors are willing to pay life-changing amounts. Make sure you stay until the end, because the one coin on this list could still be hiding in everyday pocket change. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out an ordinary-looking quarter, and unknowingly spending a coin that could be worth as much as $809,000. It sounds unbelievable, but history has repeatedly shown that extraordinary coins have appeared in everyday circulation when people least expected them. Every year, valuable coins disappear forever because someone uses them to buy a cup of coffee, a tank of gas, or a fast food meal without realizing what they have. The difference between a spender and a collector isn't luck, it's knowledge. While millions of Americans continue to spend their pocket change without a second thought, informed collectors examine every coin carefully because they understand that hidden treasures can still be found. And today, we're exploring one of the most fascinating modern quarters ever discussed among collectors, the 2018 Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore Quarter. Before you dismiss it as just another modern coin, remember this: sometimes the newest treasures are hiding in plain sight. The 2018 Pictured Rocks Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series created by the United States Mint to honor America's most remarkable national parks and historic sites. This particular design celebrates Michigan's breathtaking Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, famous for its colorful sandstone cliffs, pristine waters, and natural beauty. Millions of these quarters entered circulation, leading most people to assume they could never become valuable. Yet, experienced numismatists know that rarity is rarely about the design itself. Instead, it is often about tiny manufacturing mistakes that transform an ordinary coin into something collectors desperately want. Think about this for a moment. If millions of identical quarters exist, why would one collector pay thousands or even hundreds of thousands for a single example? The answer lies in the tiny details invisible to most people. Those details separate common change from legendary collectibles. The market doesn't reward ordinary coins. It rewards extraordinary mistakes. Right now, if you have a jar of loose change sitting somewhere in your house, pause mentally for just a second and think about what's inside it. How many quarters have you ignored over the years? How many did you spend without looking? That question alone has inspired thousands of collectors to begin checking every coin they receive. The journey of every coin begins with a blank metal disc called a planchet. It passes through enormous presses operating under tremendous pressure, striking the design into the metal in a fraction of a second. While modern technology is remarkably accurate, perfection is never guaranteed. Every now and then, something unexpected happens. A die becomes damaged. A planchet enters the press incorrectly. A strike occurs under unusual conditions. Those rare moments create mint errors that collectors spend years trying to locate. Among the most discussed possibilities for the 2018 Pictured Rocks Quarter are dramatic double die characteristics. A genuine double die is created during the die manufacturing process itself, producing noticeable separation in design elements. Careful examination of lettering, numbers, and fine details can sometimes reveal true doubling rather than simple machine doubling. Collectors carefully inspect inscriptions like Liberty, In God We Trust, and United States of America, searching for crisp, distinct separation that indicates an authentic variety. Another highly desirable possibility involves off-center strikes. Instead of receiving a perfectly centered impression, the coin may be struck while slightly misaligned. The greater the percentage of the off-center strike, while still retaining the date and mint mark, the more desirable the coin generally becomes. These dramatic visual errors instantly attract attention because they are obvious even to beginning collectors. Then there are broad strikes, where the retaining collar fails to contain the planchet during striking. The coin spreads outward, creating an unusual shape with missing reeded edges. Although uncommon, certified broad strike examples are consistently popular because they clearly demonstrate how something went wrong during production. Collectors also search intensely for clipped planchets. Before striking, strips of metal are punched into circular blanks. Occasionally, a punch overlaps an already cut blank, producing a curved section missing from the finished coin. Genuine clipped planchets display unique physical characteristics that professional grading services use to authenticate them. Die cracks and retained die breaks represent another fascinating category. As dies wear from striking millions of coins, stress fractures can develop. Metal flows into these cracks during striking, creating raised lines or unusual features across the coin. In extreme situations, portions of the die begin breaking apart, producing dramatic raised shapes that make each surviving coin unique. Some collectors dream of discovering a spectacular die cut, where a large portion of the die near its edge breaks away entirely. These impressive mint errors dramatically alter part of the design and are often considered among the most visually striking production mistakes available to collectors. Now here's something many people never realize. Not every unusual-looking coin is valuable. Damage that occurs after a coin leaves the mint, whether from parking lots, washing machines, or tools, does not usually increase value. The true challenge is separating legitimate mint-made errors from ordinary circulation damage. That distinction is exactly why authentication has become so important in today's market. Professional grading services examine suspected error coins under magnification, measuring strike characteristics, die diagnostics, surface preservation, and originality. A coin certified by respected grading companies often commands significantly greater confidence among buyers because authenticity has already been verified. Let's take another quick pause. Imagine opening an old coin jar inherited from a family member. Would you recognize a rare mint error if it were staring back at you? Most people wouldn't. That's why education remains the greatest investment any collector can make. Beyond mint errors, condition plays a massive role in determining value. Modern quarters may appear common, but pristine examples preserved immediately after striking can be surprisingly scarce. Coins showing exceptional luster, razor-sharp details, flawless surfaces, and virtually no contact marks receive the highest numerical grades. At the very top of the grading scale, tiny differences invisible to casual observers can separate a coin worth a few dollars from one worth thousands. Collectors often refer to these elite examples as condition rarities. Even without dramatic mint errors, an exceptionally preserved coin can become highly competitive when registry set collectors compete for the finest known examples. As populations become smaller at the highest grades, competition naturally intensifies. Now let's address the headline figure that captures everyone's attention: $809,000. Numbers like this generate enormous excitement because extraordinary coins have indeed sold for astonishing prices throughout numismatic history. However, it's important to understand that such values represent exceptional circumstances involving remarkable rarity, extraordinary preservation, and strong collector demand. For a 2018 pictured rocks quarter to approach an estimated value of up to $809,000, it would likely require an extraordinary combination of an extremely rare, authenticated mint error, elite condition, significant collector interest, and a competitive auction environment. Such outcomes are exceptionally rare rather than typical. Still, that possibility is exactly what fuels the passion of collectors across America. Every coin examined carries the excitement of discovery. Every handful of change represents another opportunity to uncover something extraordinary. The treasure hunt never truly ends because no one knows exactly what remains hidden in circulation. Here's a question that might surprise you. When was the last time you actually looked closely at the quarters in your wallet instead of simply counting their face value? Most people can answer that with one word: never. Yet collectors understand that fortune sometimes hides behind ordinary appearances. The popularity of modern era coins has expanded dramatically over the past decade. Social media, online auctions, educational videos, and growing public awareness have introduced millions of Americans to the fascinating world of numismatics. More collectors entering the market means increased competition for genuinely scarce examples. As demand rises while supply remains limited, exceptional certified coins often receive stronger attention from serious buyers. Another fascinating aspect of the pictured rocks quarter is its connection to American history and natural heritage. The reverse design captures Chapel Rock overlooking Lake Superior, celebrating one of the nation's most recognizable landscapes. Coins like this represent more than currency. They preserve history in metal, carrying stories that continue long after they leave the mint. Some collectors focus exclusively on completing America the Beautiful quarter sets. Others pursue only dramatic mint errors. Still others search for the highest graded examples available. Regardless of collecting style, every approach shares one common goal: finding rarity where others see only spare change. And here's a little humor to keep things in perspective. Somewhere today, someone probably used a quarter to unlock a grocery cart without giving it a second glance. Imagine discovering later that the coin you casually rolled across a parking lot was actually the highlight of a collector's dream. That's enough to make anyone start checking their change a little more carefully. The coin market continues evolving as new discoveries emerge and collector preferences shift. Prices fluctuate, populations change, and previously overlooked varieties sometimes become highly desirable after additional research. That ongoing evolution keeps the hobby exciting because today's overlooked coin could become tomorrow's headline. If you decide to search for a 2018 pictured rocks quarter, take your time. Examine the date carefully. Inspect the mint mark. Look closely for unusual doubling, striking abnormalities, clipped planchets, die cracks, off-center strikes, or other authentic mint-produced characteristics. Compare your findings with trusted numismatic references, and if something appears truly unusual, consider professional authentication before making any assumptions about value. Remember, successful collectors rarely rely on luck alone. They rely on patience, observation, education, and persistence. Those qualities have helped countless enthusiasts build remarkable collections one coin at a time. The next time someone hands you change at a grocery store, a gas station, or your favorite coffee shop, resist the temptation to drop those quarters directly into your pocket. Instead, spend a few extra seconds examining each one. Those moments of curiosity could be the beginning of an unforgettable discovery. While most quarters will always be worth 25 cents, it only takes one extraordinary coin to completely change the story. And this is only the beginning. There is another modern U.S. coin hiding in circulation with an even more astonishing story, one that has stunned experienced collectors with its rarity and remarkable value potential. You won't want to miss that incredible discovery, so make sure you're subscribed, because the next hidden treasure we uncover might already be sitting in your pocket right now. What if I told you that a simple 2004 Texas state quarter sitting in a forgotten coin jar, an old wallet, or the cup holder of your car could be worth far more than its face value? Most people spend these coins without giving them a second thought. Collectors, however, know that hidden among millions of ordinary quarters are a handful of extraordinary examples that can command astonishing prices. While the vast majority of 2004 Texas quarters are worth only 25 cents, certain ultra-rare error coins in exceptional condition have captured the attention of elite collectors, with the finest examples and unique mint errors reaching remarkable auction values. Imagine accidentally spending one of these treasures because you didn't know what to look for. That possibility alone is enough to make anyone stop and check their pocket change before it's too late. The difference between a spender and a collector isn't luck. It's knowledge. Every year, countless valuable coins quietly pass through cash registers, vending machines, and grocery store checkout counters because their owners never recognize what they have. Meanwhile, experienced collectors carefully inspect every detail, searching for tiny clues that can transform an ordinary coin into a remarkable discovery. Today, we're uncovering the secrets behind the legendary 2004 Texas state quarter and the rare mint errors that have turned a handful of these coins into the stars of the numismatic world. The Texas quarter was released as part of the popular 50 state quarters program, one of the most successful coin programs in American history. The reverse design proudly features the unmistakable outline of the Lone Star State with a bold star representing its identity and strength. The inscriptions "The Lone Star State" and "Friendship" celebrate Texas history while honoring its rich heritage. Hundreds of millions of these quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, making the coin seem incredibly common at first glance. Yet hidden within that enormous production are tiny manufacturing mistakes that continue to fascinate collectors decades later. Before we dive deeper, here's something you should do right now. Pause for just a moment and think about where your loose change is sitting. Is there a coin jar in your kitchen? A forgotten drawer? An old piggy bank in the closet? Many remarkable coin discoveries have happened in exactly those places. Treasure doesn't always come from expensive collections. Sometimes it comes from everyday pocket change. Now let's talk about what transforms an ordinary Texas quarter into a collector's dream. One of the most desirable possibilities is a dramatic double die error. During the creation of the coin's dies, even the slightest misalignment can produce doubling on important design elements. On the Texas quarter, experienced collectors carefully examine the lettering, the outline of Texas, the star, and other inscriptions for noticeable doubling. Genuine double dies are extremely scarce and require careful authentication, but when verified, they become highly desirable because every coin struck from that die carries the same distinctive characteristics. Another valuable mint error involves off-center strikes. During the striking process, if the blank planchet is not perfectly positioned inside the coining press, the finished coin displays a portion of its design missing while leaving a blank crescent-shaped area. The more dramatic the off-center strike, provided the date and denomination remain visible, the greater the collector demand. These dramatic mint mistakes are immediately recognizable and often become centerpieces of advanced error collections. Collectors also search intensely for broad strike errors. These occur when the retaining collar fails to hold the coin in place during striking. Instead of receiving its normal raised rim, the quarter expands beyond its intended diameter, producing a noticeably different appearance. Broad strikes on state quarters remain highly collectible because they clearly demonstrate the precision required in the minting process and how even a small mechanical failure can create something extraordinary. Here's another quick challenge. If you have a magnifying glass nearby, grab it after this video and inspect every Texas quarter you own. Most people have never looked closely enough to notice the tiny details that collectors spend years studying. What looks ordinary from across the room may reveal something exceptional under magnification point. One of the most exciting categories involves die cracks and retained die breaks. As coin dies wear down after striking thousands upon thousands of coins, small fractures begin to develop. These fractures appear as raised lines on the finished coin because the molten metal flows into the cracked portions of the die during striking. While minor die cracks are relatively common, large, dramatic die breaks that significantly alter the appearance of the design are considerably scarcer and often generate strong collector interest. Even more fascinating are cut errors, which occur when a portion of the die breaks away completely. This missing section allows metal to flow into the empty space, creating an unusual raised blob connected to the rim. Every cud tells the story of a die nearing the end of its life, making these coins miniature pieces of mint history frozen in metal. Some collectors devote their entire careers to searching for struck-through errors. These occur when grease, cloth fibers, metal fragments, or other foreign material become trapped between the die and the planchet during striking. The result is a missing or weakened portion of the design that can never be duplicated exactly. Every genuine struck-through error is unique, adding another layer of excitement to the hunt. Now here's something many people don't realize. Condition is often just as important as rarity. A spectacular mint error on a heavily worn coin may still be valuable, but the highest auction records are generally reserved for coins preserved in exceptional mint condition. Professional grading services carefully examine every surface, assigning grades that can dramatically influence market value. Tiny differences invisible to the average person can sometimes mean thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars in value. This brings us to one of the biggest myths surrounding valuable coins. Many online headlines suggest that every 2004 Texas quarter is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That simply isn't true. Ordinary circulated examples remain common. However, exceptionally rare authenticated mint errors combined with outstanding preservation and extraordinary collector demand have produced astonishing prices in elite auctions. In the rarest circumstances, unique or nearly unique examples have inspired extraordinary bidding among advanced collectors, creating headline-grabbing values that capture worldwide attention. Imagine discovering such a coin in a roll from your local bank. It sounds unbelievable, yet collectors continue searching because remarkable discoveries still happen. Every unopened roll, inherited collection, estate sale, or forgotten coin jar represents another opportunity. That possibility keeps the hunt alive year after year. Let's pause for one more reality check. How many quarters have you spent this week without looking at them? 5? 10? 20? What if one of them carried a rare error that collectors had been searching for? It's a humorous thought until you remember that genuine discoveries have happened exactly that way. Today's coin market remains stronger than many people realize. Rare error coins continue attracting passionate collectors because every authentic mint mistake represents a moment when the highly sophisticated production process briefly failed. These accidental creations cannot simply be manufactured on demand. Their rarity is permanent, and as more collectors enter the hobby while the supply remains fixed, competition naturally increases for the finest examples. The 2004 Texas Quarter holds a special place within the State Quarter series because of its iconic design and enduring popularity. Advanced collectors continue examining thousands of examples in hopes of locating overlooked varieties, dramatic strike errors, or extraordinary die anomalies that escaped public attention for years. Every new discovery adds another chapter to the coin's fascinating story. If you believe you've found an unusual Texas Quarter, resist the temptation to clean it. Cleaning removes original surfaces, creates microscopic scratches, and often reduces collector value significantly. Instead, handle the coin carefully by its edges, store it safely, and seek evaluation from a reputable professional grading service or experienced numismatist. Proper authentication is essential because genuine mint errors possess specific characteristics that distinguish them from post-mint damage. Perhaps the greatest lesson from the Texas Quarter isn't simply about money. It's about perspective. Extraordinary value often hides inside ordinary objects that people overlook every single day. The collector who takes time to learn, observe, and remain patient sees opportunities invisible to everyone else. That mindset extends far beyond coin collecting. As demand for elite error coins continues to grow, remarkable pieces remain fiercely contested whenever they appear on the market. Exceptional authenticated examples have generated tremendous excitement among collectors, and the most extraordinary specimens have been associated with reported values reaching as high as $822,000 under extraordinary market circumstances. These headline figures reflect the rarest authenticated examples rather than typical Texas Quarters, reminding us why careful identification and professional authentication matter so much. So before you dismiss that handful of quarters sitting in your home, remember this story. Somewhere, an ordinary-looking Texas Quarter may be waiting to surprise its owner. It could be hidden inside an old coin album, tucked into a forgotten drawer, resting in a bankroll, or mixed into everyday pocket change. The next remarkable discovery could belong to someone who simply decided to look a little closer. And here's the question that every serious collector asks before walking away from loose change. What if this is the one? That single question has led to some of the most exciting discoveries in modern numismatics. Keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the value hidden in everyday coins. Because in our next video, we'll reveal another ultra-rare American coin with mysterious mint errors, astonishing auction records, and a story so incredible that it has left even veteran collectors completely amazed. You won't want to miss it. Have you ever paid for a cup of coffee with a quarter without even looking at it? Imagine if that single coin was actually worth far more than a luxury home. Every day, millions of Americans spend pocket change without a second thought, while collectors quietly search through the very same coins hoping to discover a hidden treasure. The difference between a spender and a collector isn't luck, it's knowledge. And today, we're exploring one of the most talked about modern quarters in recent years, the 2019 San Antonio Missions Quarter Dollar. Some rare examples with extraordinary minting errors and exceptional condition have attracted intense collector interest, and the most remarkable pieces have been associated with values reaching into astonishing territory. Before you spend another quarter, you may want to listen carefully, because the next coin sitting in your change jar could tell an entirely different story. The San Antonio Missions Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, celebrating one of America's most treasured historical landmarks in Texas. The reverse design features symbols representing the Spanish colonial real, with a lion, wheat, arches, and flowing water, reflecting centuries of history and culture. At first glance, it appears to be an ordinary modern quarter that millions of people overlook every day. But seasoned collectors understand that some of the greatest discoveries are hidden inside the most ordinary-looking coins. Here's what makes this story fascinating. Modern coins are produced in enormous quantities using high-speed presses operating around the clock. While the United States Mint maintains strict quality standards, no manufacturing process is absolutely perfect. Every once in a while, a coin escapes with an unusual characteristic that transforms an everyday piece of currency into something collectors eagerly pursue. Those rare mistakes are exactly what many experts search for, and they can dramatically increase desirability when authenticated. Now, here's something I want you to do. Pause for just a moment and think about where you keep your spare change. Is there a coin jar sitting on a shelf? A forgotten cup holder in your car? A drawer in your kitchen? Believe it or not, many valuable discoveries have been made in places just like those. The next few minutes could completely change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Among the most discussed varieties involving the 2019 San Antonio Missions Quarter are dramatic struck-through errors. During the minting process, foreign material can occasionally become trapped between the die and the coin blank. Instead of receiving a normal design, the affected area appears distorted or missing. When the obstruction creates a bold and easily identifiable impression, collectors often view the coin as significantly more desirable than an ordinary example. Large, dramatic struck-through errors are especially appealing because every piece is completely unique. Another exciting possibility is an off-center strike. Normally, the coin blank is perfectly aligned before the dies strike it. But if the blank shifts even slightly, part of the design may be missing while a blank crescent remains visible around the edge. The farther off-center the strike, while still showing the complete date and mint mark, the more attention the coin may receive from collectors. These dramatic mistakes are instantly recognizable and often become conversation pieces in advanced collections. Double strikes also capture tremendous excitement. Imagine a quarter being struck once, shifting position, and then receiving a second impression. The overlapping images create a fascinating appearance that immediately separates the coin from ordinary circulation pieces. Genuine double-struck quarters are considerably scarcer than normal coins, making authenticated examples highly desirable within the error coin community. Then there are broad strikes, where the retaining collar fails to hold the coin during the strike. Without the collar, the quarter expands beyond its normal size, creating a wider appearance with distorted edges. Because these errors occur during the minting process itself, they represent authentic manufacturing mistakes rather than post-mint damage. That's an important distinction every collector should understand. Perhaps the most famous modern minting mistakes involve clipped planchets. Before coins are struck, round blanks are punched from large sheets of metal. Occasionally, one blank overlaps the edge of another, leaving a curved section missing from the finished coin. These clips produce a distinctive shape that experienced collectors can recognize almost instantly. Authentic clipped planchet errors often display additional characteristics that professional grading services use during authentication. Now here's another attention check. If you're holding a handful of quarters nearby, take a quick look at the date. You might be surprised how many modern quarters people save without ever realizing certain examples deserve a closer inspection. Sometimes the greatest treasure hunt begins with nothing more than loose change from yesterday's grocery trip. Collectors also search for die cracks and retained cut errors. Over time, minting dies experience tremendous stress from striking thousands upon thousands of coins. Tiny fractures can develop, creating raised lines across the design. If part of the die eventually breaks away, larger raised areas known as cuds may appear on the finished coin. While minor cracks are relatively common, dramatic retained cuds can become highly collectible, particularly when they occur on popular modern issues. Another variety attracting interest involves die chips and die breaks. Small pieces missing from the die can create unusual raised blobs on the coin's surface. Although many are minor, unusually large or visually striking examples often become desirable among specialists who collect modern mint errors. Condition plays an equally important role. Even without a spectacular error, a 2019 San Antonio Missions quarter preserved in exceptional mint state condition may command a premium compared with heavily circulated examples. Coins displaying original mint luster, razor-sharp details, and virtually no contact marks are significantly scarcer than people realize because most quarters immediately entered circulation after leaving the mint. Professional grading can make an enormous difference. Organizations like PCGS and NGC carefully authenticate coins, evaluate their condition, and encapsulate them in tamper-evident holders. For rare error coins, certification provides buyers with confidence that the piece is genuine and accurately described. In today's competitive collector market, authentication is often one of the most important factors influencing value. Now let's talk about the question everyone has been waiting for. Could a 2019 San Antonio Missions quarter really be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Here's the reality. Ordinary circulated examples are generally worth face value. However, authenticated coins featuring exceptionally rare and dramatic mint errors, especially in outstanding condition, can command substantial premiums over face value. Extraordinary asking prices and speculative claims approaching $999,000 frequently appear online, but an individual coin's actual value depends on the specific error, rarity, certification, condition, provenance, and what collectors are willing to pay at auction. Every valuable coin is unique, which is why professional evaluation is absolutely essential before assuming an extraordinary value. This is exactly why experienced collectors never rush to clean a coin. Cleaning may seem harmless, but it can permanently damage original surfaces and significantly reduce collector appeal. If you believe you found an unusual quarter, leave it exactly as you found it, store it carefully, and consider having it examined by a reputable grading service or knowledgeable coin dealer. Patience can protect both the coin and its potential value. Here's something many people don't realize. Some of the greatest coin discoveries weren't made by wealthy investors or professional treasure hunters. They were found by ordinary people checking pocket change after work, searching old piggy banks, or sorting through inherited collections. The opportunity isn't limited to experts. It's available to anyone willing to pay attention. So let me ask you one simple question. What if the quarter sitting in your wallet right now isn't just 25 cents? What if it's the one coin that thousands of collectors have been hoping to find? That possibility, however small, is exactly what keeps the world of numismatics so exciting. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story becomes far more valuable than anyone ever imagined. Interest in modern era coins continues to grow as more collectors discover how difficult it can be to locate truly exceptional examples. Competition for authenticated rarities has become increasingly intense, especially when remarkable errors appear in top grades. As awareness grows, so does the excitement surrounding these elusive modern treasures. The hunt itself is part of the reward. Every handful of change represents another opportunity. Every roll from the bank could contain an overlooked rarity. Every forgotten coin jar deserves another look. That's what transforms an ordinary hobby into an adventure filled with possibility. Before you spend another quarter, promise yourself one thing. Slow down. Look closely. Examine the date, the mint mark, the edges, and the design. Knowledge has a way of turning ordinary moments into extraordinary discoveries, and sometimes the smallest coin can create the biggest surprise. If you enjoyed uncovering the mystery behind the 2019 San Antonio Missions quarter, you're going to love what's coming next. In our next video, we'll reveal another modern American coin that many people